Hello, good evening, and a very warm welcome to the next session of Powerhouse Series BFSI. I hope all of you are doing well. We'll just wait for a couple of minutes. I'll have some discussion with the people who are already present here, but we'll have 3 or 4 minutes until some of the people join as well, so that they don't miss out such an important topic that we will be discussing today. So, from all the attendees, can you guys type in if you guys are working in a BFSI organization or elsewhere? Am I audible? Umar Ehsan, you're from manufacturing industry. And can you specify which function? Because I've seen you take a lot of interest and a lot of relevant questions did came from you during the session. Can you specify your function? Which function do you work in? Accounts and finance. Okay, understandable. Who else? Is there anyone from the BFSI sector? Okay, Bilal Said Bank, ABL Asset Management Company, Saeem Ali. Anybody else? You guys know that we have almost covered 31 hours of our BFSI sessions. The original number was 40 hours, but it got increased in between to 41 hours. So we're almost left with 10 hours, excluding today. After today, there will be only 8 hours left. Ali Aziz, working for Parliament Finance Department. That's great. So I think there is a considerable number that have joined. So today's topic is blockchain and cryptocurrencies. The trainer today with us, I would like to thank him for joining us. He's currently traveling. He has taken out considerable time for us, for our members, in his busy schedule. So I would like to thank you, Roshab, and also could you please take the mic and start with the session? I think we have received a considerable number of members who have joined.
Islamic Feroz, thank you very much. Welcome everyone. This is Raouf Ali Jan. As Feroz was saying, Feroz, you can hear me loud and clear, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so my name is Rauf Ali Jan and I'm a chartered accountant. I was talking to you guys earlier in the week as well. I think it was Monday, if I'm not wrong. Yes. And we were talking about digital transformation of financial services. My work is a lot more similar to what we were talking about on Monday. But the topic which we are discussing today is very interesting, blockchain and cryptocurrency. And as with the advent of new century in 2008-9, we started talking about blockchain. So I'll tell you, we'll talk about a lot and in a lot more detail about blockchain and how it works in cryptocurrency and what does that mean. But right now we are seeing very limited use of that in Pakistan or even in Western world. There are multiple reasons for that, and we'll discuss it in detail as well. Before we go into the details of the webinar and details of the blockchain cryptocurrency, I just wanted to cover few administrative tasks. If you are not able to hear me, you can type it in the message box, question and answers box, and Firoz will either help you out, or Firoz will tell me that he's unable to hear me, and then we'll change things from there. In addition, if there is anything which you want to ask, don't wait till the end of the session. You can just type in your message. I like these sessions to be more interactive, more engaging than otherwise. We have had a good session and we covered a lot on Monday, and I would like to do or run it in the same fashion as we did on Monday. I understand that working in banking industry, 6 o'clock does not mean that your day ends, and but considering we are taking two hours of time, we have to start it at the time when everybody else can also attend and join. So we could not delay it further. Moving on to today's topic, let me briefly tell you about blockchain, what the blockchain is. This is a new technology. Let me just start sharing my screen as well. Rose, you have given me screen sharing rights.
I'm just assigning right now. There you go.
Okay. Yeah, Firoz, let me know if you are able to see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. So this is going to be our agenda today. We'll talk about what the blockchain is. We'll talk about types of blockchain. Then we'll talk about different forms of blockchain. We'll also talk about cryptocurrency. And we'll try to go in as much detail as we can practically, because definitely these are very technical sort of topic. In addition, these are like, if I tell you, I can brief you about the whole of IFRS in 2 hours, that will be unreal. And similarly, the blockchain and cryptocurrency is such a detailed topic that I will try to cover it up in a simplest manner so that everybody understands it. I'll try to bring in some examples uh, from the current world usages where we are using it, so that you are able to learn from them as well, that this is how we are doing it. And if you have any question, as I mentioned earlier, don't hesitate to ask that. This is my profile. I've been a member of ICAP and FCCA. I've been working in. I started my career with Ferguson from Pakistan, which is PwC. Then I moved to Bahamas, and then moved to Canada, and then did my CA Canada, and did my MBA from there. And I came back to Pakistan and joined HPL. In HBL, my main task is related to audits. I have moved into 3-4 different departments of audits in last 3 years within HBL, and my main focus right now is international audits, digitalization, application audits, and thematic audits. Most of them are not the traditional audits which we do, but as you can see that as I told you in the beginning that I'm doing the digital transformation, I like that is related to my job. So this thematic audit, application audits, and digitalization, these are all the areas which I work on, and that is how I help the digital transformation in the financial services industry. Coming back to this picture where we are talking about blockchain. Blockchain is something which is a technology which works in a manner that a lot of information is stored in a block. There are multiple information, or you can create and related information and save it in the block, and then you link all the blocks to make it a chain of blocks, and that's why it's called blockchain. It is a very secure and encrypted technology. It has some characteristics which keeps it anonymous, which keeps it encrypted, so that you are not able to forge it, you are not able to compromise the security of it, and because there are so many features, security features are available. And most importantly, some of the characteristics of it is that if you try to manipulate it, the information of the blocks changes, and it means that it goes corrupt, and you are not able to verify it or validate it, and you are not able to use it. So blockchain, in simple terms, if I define it, this is the definition of the blockchain. As I mentioned that we store data in different blocks. As you can see with the different pictures on this slide, there is in the middle there are 3 different blocks of data which are connected through a chain, making it a blockchain. The blocks which are connected into blockchain are in a chronological order, in a manner that the previous blocks link it to the next block, and then the following block is linked with the previous block. So this chain is formed in a manner that if one of the blocks is missing, the chain will not be continued, and you will lost the data, and you will lost the whole blockchain cycle. The blockchain is a very decentralized process. It's not that you will be able to save everything on one laptop. The whole feature of blockchain works in a manner that all the blocks have to be stored in multiple locations, in multiple servers instead of one server, so that it is not stored in a manner that if one person's laptop is stolen, or if one person's laptop is corrupted, then you will not be able to or you will be able to lose the data. It has to work in a manner that it is stored in multiple locations, it is stored in multiple laptops, so that if data of one laptop is compromised, the data on other laptops is still available, and that's how it makes it very secure. On the top right side, you see peer-to-peer network. In that environment, you see that there are 4 different peers which are working in the environment, that all the blocks are available and connected through a network, and that network, peer-to-peer network, is linked for the same blockchain, and 4 copies of the blockchain of the similar data is stored in different pairs, different servers, so that it is a decentralized function, and it is stored in a manner that anyone can obtain the information from anywhere, and anyone can obtain the information from anywhere without compromising the data. Okay, as you have heard, one of the controls which we implement in making sure that the information which is passed through the systems is complete and accurate, we use the hash totals. In the similar manner, the hash is being used in different blocks to make sure that hash from previous block is documented in the next block, so that it is covered and it is linked with the next block, and the data, if any data in any of the blocks is changed, then the hash numbers will change. And if the hash numbers are changed, that means that the block is not secure. And then you have to go to the other server, or you have to go to the other peer network to obtain the right information. Let me just close the door. Give me a second. Hi. So I was telling you that some of the definitions of the blockchains is that, if I'm repeating myself, it is that you store the data on different blocks. You store the data on one hard drive in a one cluster on one of the hard drives, and similar information is stored through a software in another laptop and or another machine or server or computer, and simultaneously all the connected people are seeing the same information on the blockchain. If one person changes the information on all the four laptops or four servers changes. If it does not change, it means that there are some the data is not complete and accurate, and hash totals will not match. All the blocks are connected through a hash total, and it becomes a very, very long chain, because every time you change anything in the block, it creates a new block instead of just rewriting on the old block. So it starts from that, okay, this is the old blocks number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And if you want to say that instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it should be A, B, C, D. So it will not replace 1 with A, it will start a new block, and then that will be written on the new data. That will be written on the new block, and the hash total from the previous block will continue to be with you. So you will be able to see the whole history if you want to. Does anyone have any question or concern so far? As I was telling you that I would prefer to answer questions as we go along.
We
Yes,
haven't
Firoz.
received any questions, Raul Saab. I'll encourage the participants to type in your questions. So once we're done with a specific area, we can questions.
So what is the importance of blockchain? You will see that as you are talking about theoretically what the blockchain is, and as you see in the middle picture that what the blockchain is, there are 2, 3 different blocks or different boxes which are connected through a pipes or chains. That's why we call it blockchain. But what is the importance of blockchain? You have all dealt with in a lot of situation with government, you have dealt with in a lot of situation with other people, where you are only shown certain part of things and not the complete picture. And because of that, it becomes very difficult for you to understand the history. Let me give you an example. Land registry. A lot of people, a lot of you have dealt with the land registry in Pakistan. And if you think about it, what do you do in land registry? If you want to buy an apartment, you will go to the government and you will ask that I want to buy this apartment. Whose name is this under? Or you will reach out to the property and you will reach out to the seller and you will say that, okay, I want to buy this property, and seller will give you some documents that this is under my name. And you will go to government and you will see whose name it is under. And the centralized system of the whole land registry is available with government, and government tells you that this whole system is like this is under Rauf's name or this is under ABC's name, and then you will buy the property and this will come under your name, and next time somebody else want to buy this property, they will come talk to you. But in the blockchain environment, for this use case, everybody should be able to see everyone's identity, that whose name is this land registry is. everybody should be able to see that, okay, this land registry was under the name of ABC person who sold it to XYZ person who sold it to DEF person and who sold it to MNO person. And now this MNO person is selling it to QRS, and now I'm buying it from QRS. If this information is available to everyone, then nobody needs to go to government. Everybody will understand what are the complications in this file is, in this land registry is, what is the site plan for this land registry, how does this work, and how should we be able to buy this property. Similarly, if you want to apply for the visa, there are so many requirements. The system may not be very useful for you because in the manner you are applying for the visa, somebody is taking the decision, but you don't know until the decision is communicated to you. And in the transparent manner, in the blockchain manner, it will be visible to you that, okay, this is what you have applied for, this is what you are getting, and going forward, this is what the next steps are. In the if there are so many use cases which we can discuss, and which I am planning to discuss with you, because with the help of use cases, blockchain will become very easy for you to understand. As I was telling you in the land registry example, if anybody buys the property, instead of rewriting the history from the past, they will create another box for the new land registry. But you can imagine how many boxes that will be. Only in like Karachi, Lahore, Islamabad, we are talking about hundreds of thousands, if not millions of different land registries or land boxes which are available for each. Even if one property has 10 boxes, there are tens of millions. There are going to be tens of millions of boxes available or blocks available, which will record all this data, but that will be kept decentralized in a different manner. Ji Firoz, do we have any questions so far? Firoz, are you there?
Sorry, I didn't unmute myself. There are two questions, Rausab. From one is from Javadur Rahman. He wants to understand what is hash. He didn't get the idea when you use the terminology. There are two more questions, but do you want to
Yeah, let me
answer
let me
this one
let me
first?
tell what the hash is. Javad, if you look at the input controls, like I'll tell you, in technology there are a couple of things which we do. We look at the infrastructure, which is the hardware part. There is a software part. Within software, we talk about operating system. We talk about application controls. In application controls, like if you have sent a report for your payroll, for your company's payroll distribution, you have sent an Excel file to the bank that ABC and from 1 to 5,000 rows. These are the name of the customers, these are the account numbers, and this is the salary to be credited in their name. Can you please credit that? And you sent it to your bank on 24th of October. And the bank, what does bank do is, this is one of the encryption mechanism which is created as, if you click on the encryption mechanism, the hash total is created. What is the hash total? What they will do, they will either sum up all the account numbers, like account number is a numeric number, but it is not the amount, it is the number. So there is no one who will be adding all the numbers. In the similar manner, you can add all the CNICs, you can add the phone numbers. These are the things which does not add up to the exact amount. And you will create a hash total. Suppose if the total of all the numbers come out 1004 or 100000004, you will write this as hash total. You can write hash total in numeric, alphanumeric, or whatever you want it. And this hash total will go along with the file that the sum of all the account numbers field is 100000004. And when it will be received by me, I will check the total amount. And if somebody has manipulated the amount, such as by reducing my salary and increasing Firoz's salary with the same amount, the total of salary will be the same, but they cannot change the numbers of account number or CNIC numbers, because then it will not match. If you change a single number in account number or customer number, it will create an impact on the hash total. So the hash total is sum of the sum of the field, and then if I'll add all the account numbers or all the CNIC's number, the hash total should come up to the same number which was sent to me by ABC person. So the hash total is used as a mechanism to make sure nobody has manipulated anything in the file. If you just change one comma or one space, it will change the hash total of that file, and that is what is done by the encryption systems, encryption softwares. So this is the hash total. In the same manner, if somebody gets into blockchain and changes anything in the blockchain, instead of like in the land registry example we talked about, if somebody has written that this is under the name of Rauf Ali Jan, and you changed it to from Rauf Ali Jan to ABC person, the hash total of that blockchain will be changed, and it will give an error next time you will go in. The hash total from the previous block will not match with this block because you have changed it. And this is how you get to know that the data has been manipulated. Hope I answered that question. G. Firoz.
Thank you, Roksha, for such a detailed answer. Uh, Another question from Bilal Saeed. He wants to ask basically, can we say that Google Sheets are based on blockchain?
Uh, Google Sheets, if you're talking about the spreadsheets, I don't know about the Google Sheets if there are some other, because Google has some documents and sheets and things like that. Uh, those are simple softwares. Blockchain has to be a software where you are keeping the decentralized records, where you are keeping the information in a decentralized manner. The Microsoft Excel spreadsheet also has a feature available where you can do the multiple editing. Multiple people can edit it at the same time. But nobody will know in Google spreadsheet or in if you are sharing the Google Sheet, or if you are sharing the Microsoft Excel spreadsheet simultaneously at the same time, nobody will be able to know who changed what, and you are still able to change it without telling anyone else. Like if I save a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet with the same salary I was giving you an example on, and I updated it, but somebody went in and changed the spreadsheet, the hash total will be changed if you have created a hash total on that, but that is a security feature you have created on them, but there is no blocks involved. In blocks of information, you will create a block, and any any information you will store on that, it will be created, suppose, on a separate spreadsheet, and the previous spreadsheet and this new spreadsheet will be linked in a manner that nobody should be able to change that. So Google Spreadsheet is a good feature available where you can all edit the document at the same time, but it's not a blockchain. Blockchain is much more complicated than this. G. Firoz.
Thank you, Roksha. Another question from Vadud Alam. Uh, Rather a statement. So this means we can use it when it is adapted at a large scale, such as government entities. However, how about data when there is nothing illegal, but still a person wishes to prevent the access of others or their information?
Sorry, say it again. Your voice broke up in between. Please say it again.
Okay, so let me rephrase it. There are two parts to this statement. The first one is uh, we can use it when it is adapted at a large scale, such as a government or a similar entity adapts it. This is the first statement. And the second statement is, how about data when, what about the data that when there is nothing illegal, but still a person wishes to prevent the access of others or to their information? I think this is being related to the example that you were giving about the hash totals.
Yeah, so a couple of things. The first one you said adopted at large scale. We can all four create, and when I will be talking about the use cases, I'll give you an example. Like if you want to send money from suppose Dubai to Pakistan, how does the money flow? Money flow from Dubai, you will send it to a correspondent bank, which may be sitting in Singapore. Singapore will send to an intermediary bank, which is maybe sitting in Singapore, maybe sitting in Hong Kong, who will send it to a Pakistani bank, which may not be the bank of that intermediary bank. And then it will go to the bank where you have an account where you want to send that money. So if there's 5 different banks or 4 different banks are involved, and I'll give you an example when we'll talk about Ripple and when we'll talk about some of the types of blockchain, that if you transfer the information through these 5 banks, it means there needs to be only 3 people involved. First person is the sender, second person is the receiver, and third is the blockchain in itself. So there are 2 people. If those 2 people decide that I want to send money from A to B, from UAE to Pakistan, then those cross-border payments does not have to go through 5 different people. And you don't need a large number of people, large scale of people who are doing it. You just need a store of value like Bitcoin, and you send it from your exchange in UAE to your exchange and same exchange in Pakistan, and he will be able to redeem that amount. So it means that you don't need a full-fledged large scale thing, but you just need a person in UAE, person in Pakistan, and a middle person, third person who will transfer the money. And those 3 people can create a blockchain in itself. So it does not have to be a large scale, but definitely the use cases which we have seen, whether it's in the form of Ethereum, whether we have seen it in the form of Hyperledger, we have seen it in the form of Bitcoin, all of these cases have been large scale. So that's why you think that it is going to be large scale. The other information you talk about, what about data access information? You see, I'm not saying that everybody should be able to see that data. Like if the information is to be visible to everybody, you can go in today and you can type in, if you suppose you want to see your COVID-19 vaccine certificate, you will go in on the NADRA website, NIMS website, and you will just type in few information and they will provide you the information. Every time that information is updated, they keep an additional record of that, but it is coming from the centralized information. It is coming from the same information, NADRA's NIMS server. What if 2 people wants to deal with each other without the centralized function? And that's what the main purpose of the blockchain is. The land registry example I was giving you, definitely that works in a manner where I'm saying that 2 people reach out to land registry says that, okay, you want to sell, you want to buy, this is the information, go check the information, book the available information, and then it will be available to you. It will be available to everyone. And you, if you want to keep or you want to hide the information, you can hide it, but then it is not the true function of a blockchain. When I'll tell you the types of blockchain, I will tell you that there are some blockchains where you can hide the information, but in most cases, you do not hide the information. Like I'll give you an example, Bitcoin. I own 1 Bitcoin, you own 1 Bitcoin, but the Bitcoin information, nobody stores the information in blockchain with your name. You store the information with the blockchain ID, and blockchain ID is ABCDEFGH 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So nobody will know that Rauf owns this. That is a blockchain ID. And once you'll see that, okay, this is a blockchain ID, you can, for the land registry, I can tell you that, okay, this blockchain ID is me, and that's how I know that this is the blockchain ID of that. It is like the email address. I tell you that, okay, this is the email address, go and check the email address and you will be able to validate it. So access information can be hidden very easily, and if you want to show it, we can show it to everyone. I hope I addressed the concern. If not, please document it in the chat and I'll answer you again. G Feroz.
Thank you, Rav. 2 more questions. Shall we continue or do you take these?
Yeah, take the question so that I'll move on after the
Okay.
questions.
Another question from Arslan Aslam. If hash total doesn't allow change, So that means we need to create another block for the change. Then the hash total will be the same.
So you are saying that hash total allows the change, but hash total changes with the change, and hash total will not match with the hash total, which is the right hash total. That's how you know that information is changed without the right authorization. Because if the hash total changes with the right authorization, the hash total will become a new hash total, and that will be stored in all the laptops. So hash total does not prevent you from the change because password protection prevents you from the change, or privacy settings of something change stops the change. But hash total is just the detective control which identifies if you have changed anything already in this spreadsheet. You will be able to see, or in any of the document, you will be able to see that hash total has changed. So you will see that something has gone wrong. So every block in the blockchain has hash total, which is linked with the next block. And that's how you know that, okay, this blockchain is complete at the end, and the last blockchain hash total will be visible to all the 4 or 5 people. And that's how you see that this is the right hash total. Ji Firoz.
Thank you, Roshab. Last question from Tamila Hassan. Uh, Tamila wants to know what is the role of central bank in all of this process. Is central bank involved in any sort? Can you comment on that?
Yeah, sure. Right now, we are just talking about what the blockchain technology is. When we'll come to talk about cryptocurrency, because every time a currency is involved, state bank or central bank is involved. So I'm just trying that everybody understands the concept of blockchain. What is the blockchain? And once we'll understand the blockchain, we'll move on to the cryptocurrency. And when we'll talk about cryptocurrencies, we'll definitely talk about how the central banks and big regulators look at it. So I'll come to you on that. Okay, moving on. So this is how the blockchain works. If you see the someone requests a transaction in the block, the requested transaction is broadcast on a P2P network. If there are 4 networks on the P2P, that is broadcasted to all the networks on the peer-to-peer network, consisting of computers known as nodes. Validation: the network of nodes validate the transaction and the user's status using known algorithms. So everybody will validate, okay, the hash total is the same, hash total is the right hash total, and the land registry should update the record. If we take the example of the land registry, a verified transaction can involve cryptocurrency, contract, records, or other information. We are talking about records, so we are saying that somebody requested the land record, it went to all the P2P networks wherever it was available, in hundreds of, even if it is available on hundreds of thousands of peer-to-peer network, it will go to all of them. All of them will validate it. uh, it goes with the after the it goes with the algorithm to validate it, and once the algorithm validates it, it goes into the, once verified, the transaction is combined with other transactions to create a new block of data for the ledger. So once it's authenticated, you add another layer of data that, okay, there is no issue, let's add another data. The new block is then added to the existing blockchain in a way that is permanent and unalterable. The transaction is complete. So once this is created, once this data is validated, that all the peer-to-peer networks has the right hash total, has the right authentication algorithm, and the person who's creating that has the right authority to update it, then it is updated and the new hash total is sent to all the peer-to-peer networks. This is how another example of how the cryptocurrency works. If you want to see it in the cryptocurrency work, someone requests a transaction. The requested transaction is broadcast to peer-to-peer network consisting of nodes, validates the transaction and the user status using known algorithms. A verified transaction can involve cryptocurrency. This is the same thing, and the block is added and the transaction is complete. Does anyone have any question with after this example?
There are two questions, not
Okay.
exact to this process. There is one, but there is another question. So, do you want to take these questions?
Yeah, sure, please.
Okay, so I think a very relevant and valid question from Shehryar Mehdi. Shehryar wants to know, are there any other industries other than crypto where blockchain is currently being used?
Yes, and we will look at the use cases where this is being used. Uh, Cryptocurrency, within cryptocurrency, there are different currencies, like Bitcoin is using a different method of blockchain than Ethereum, which is using a different method of blockchain, then Ripple is using a different method of blockchain. And there are other use cases where blockchain is being used, not to the extent, not to the knowledge where Bitcoin has reached. Like everybody understands blockchain as Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies as Bitcoin. So Bitcoin has made the blockchain famous, but there are use cases, and I think I have a few examples. Like these are some of the application of blockchain. So we'll come to this slide, which is visible over here. And there are some examples in financial services where I was giving the example of cross-border payment, which is being done in the form of Ripple. So we'll come and talk about them. G Feroz.
There's a question related to mining. Do you want to take it now or maybe when you have covered mining?
I'm okay if somebody has any question which is relevant to mining. I can at least think about it and address it later when we'll be talking about.
Okay, a question from Jawad again. Jawad wants to know, why is it hard to mine a single Bitcoin?
Because they don't want you to be rich. You know the cost of Bitcoin right now, it has reached 60,000 at its peak. So you can 60,000 US dollars. If it would have been easy, everybody would have been mining it. So somebody has to make it very difficult. That is the lighter comment, because mining, if it would have been easier, Jawad, you can imagine that there would have been no value of Bitcoin, because the value comes with the demand and supply. If it would have been easier, there would have been a lot of supply, because Bitcoin has been uh, with the limited demand, with the limited supply. That's why it is keeping the increasing the value. Once all the Bitcoins will be mined, even then it is in limited supply. So you'll have to wait until the time that a new currency comes in, and then it will have any value. The mining involves a lot of operational tasks, a lot of computer powers. Like I'm not talking about the machines which we are using. I'm talking about the machines which is servers and very uh, strong hardwares. They do mine it, and it takes a lot of time. You can just imagine. I'll give you an example, and we'll talk about mining a little later. Okay, moving on. This is the example of a Bitcoin transaction cycle. I think we have covered it in a little bit detail. We'll talk about it when we'll talk about Bitcoin. Uh, so there are a few things which I would like to talk to you about in the blockchain environment. The land registry example I've given you is the centralized system, that there is a central location where the registry is involved. And somebody was asking me a question that can this only be done in the centralized environment or where the information is stored. The the main creation of blockchain, why does it all start, is because of that the person thought that why does it have to be centralized? Why cannot it be decentralized? Why do I have to trust the system? Why do I have to trust the land registry government organization, that they are the ones who will keep the main record? Why doesn't it be available to everyone? If it is available to everyone, it means that this is the right thing. So this is a democratic process. So there are two different types of systems. One is centralized system, one is decentralized system, as you can see on the left side of the picture. Centralized system, we as bankers, we always prefer to have a centralized system because then we have standardization and controls and processes can be followed at the head office location, at the central location, and all the transactions can be processed from there. It is more user friendly. It can have bigger trade volumes. Customer service is better because everything has to be done at the central level. High risk of hacking attacks. When it is at the central location, they just have to attack one location and they will be able to get the right information. Higher transaction speed because it's a central location. Users control and funds. The main head office location will control everything. Less user friendly because it has to be decentralized. If you go to A branch and a B branch, or if you go to A person and B person, less standardization, less user friendly environment. Trade volumes cannot be increased because you have to go back again and again to the large number of places. Most of the time it's self-service because you have to do it by yourself because you're dealing with the in a decentralized environment. Hacking cannot be done because decentralized environment, everybody has blockchain available in their laptop. Even if you change the block of one of the system, it will never be able to, it will not be impacting the other ones. Even if you change 10 systems and there are 100 systems, even then it is not going to work like that. Lower transaction speed because you have to, like in the previous example we were thinking about, if there are 4 pairs, you have to go and check with 4 pairs that the hash total is this validated? And once you check and you come back, then the transaction is processed. So that's why the transaction speed is very low. User give and exchange full access to their funds. So you have to give full access to the decentralized location. There are some advantages and disadvantages as we were talking about in the last slide. Hacking risk is there, transaction fees is there, custody of digital assets is easier. Lack of cohesion within the team leads to conflict within the members. If it is a decentralized environment, in a peer-to-peer network, somebody may not have access, somebody's system may be corrupt, and due to large group of people, there is difficult in making decision. Not applicable to blockchain specifically because blockchain will use the algorithm, either it's correct or not correct, and then they move on. So what is the centralized and what is the benefit of centralized and decentralized in blockchain? As you were giving the example of land registry, that is a centralized environment. In few cases, centralized environment blockchain works in a better manner because then you are just providing the information from one place to all the other places. The authenticity can be validated, but that is not the main purpose of blockchain. The main purpose of the blockchain is the democratic process where everybody goes in and everybody verifies or validates the information from peer-to-peer network. It's slow, but that is the whole purpose. If you think about it from the blockchain perspective, we are saying that instead of going to big organizations or big government organizations where we have to verify the information or where we have to follow the red tapeism, we should just start keeping the records in the blockchain with everyone on their machine or on their nodes, we call it. Then we don't need a centralized environment to go in there. There are some benefits of blockchain. Transparency is there. This is the biggest benefit. Why there is a transparency? Because everybody keeps the same information. If everybody has the same information, it's very easy that A and B and C all knows the output. Everybody has the same picture available to them. Reduce transaction cost. In centralized environment, like in land registry, land registrar can charge you as much fee as they want because they know they are the only one who will be able to keep the record of you. In the decentralized blockchain environment, you can imagine that any one of the peer networks who has that access, they will be able to do it at a very nominal cost because they'll do it for the service, they'll do it just because they want to win the competition, and the same information will be uploaded to all the peers, so transaction cost will be removed. So faster transaction settlements. The transaction in the previous slides, we saw that the transaction is slower. Why the transaction is slower? Because you have to get the validation from everyone. But if you think about it, faster transaction settlement, what does that mean? I was just giving an example. If I have to send money from Canada to Pakistan, you have to go through 5 different banks. But if I have to settle something between Canada to Pakistan with the blockchain, where I have created a block and I'm saying that transfer Bitcoins from Rauf to Bitcoin in ABC to ABC person in Pakistan, it should be very easy. So settlement they make the settlement easier. Practically speaking, it sometimes takes 2 weeks to transfer money from a North American country or Western world to Pakistan, which is too much of time. But in this environment, in this blockchain environment, where everything is done in the to the right order, we should be able to transfer the money or bitcoins or cryptocurrencies or anything. Yeah, for the sake of argument, we should be able to transfer dollars in Rauf's account using the blockchain technology, and the settlement, the transaction settlement gets faster. It's efficient, as I was talking to you, that settlement gets easier. Audibility and traceability. We have to keep log of everything, and because nobody erases anything from the block, but you add a new layer. So audit logs are there, auditability is there, and trace, because the opposite way of auditability is that you can always trace the information where who bought it when, and there are very few chances that people will be able to hide from that. Security, very secure, because hash totals are there. Cryptocurrency encryption is in their name. That's why it's called cryptocurrency, because they want to focus so much on encryption that this information is encrypted in a manner that it will never be challenged or shared, or it will always be secured. Worldwide adoption, there is no boundary. You can see that whoever wants to transfer from A to B, it's very easy, and worldwide adoption is there. Automated operations, because algorithms run it, it's very easy. It is automatically done. You don't have to go to each pair network or node to update the information. Algorithms done it on their own. Open, this goes with the transparency part. Distributed architecture, that is the reason I've explained a little bit about the structure or architecture, that this is the distributed architecture we are talking about. The next one is flexible. This one is very flexible, because you don't have to do it or you don't have to go to the land registry. You can do it from your desk, or this is all done through laptops and mobile phones, so that is easier to do. I'm willing to take some more questions, Firoz.
Okay, so there 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 are two or three questions. The first one is from Yusuf. Yusuf wants to know. Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
Sorry, there's too much noise in the background, Firoz. Firoz, I cannot hear it.
Sorry, I was taking care of that. So the question from Yusuf is, has there been any discussion on creating blockchain regulations? One of the biggest hurdles of widespread adoption of blockchain by conventional finance is the lack of regulations. How is this being addressed?
Uh, you're right. What was the name of the person who asked the question?
Yusuf Khan Ghori.
Yusuf, you're right that there are so many issues with the regulation, but if you think about it, um, it comes with a lot of responsibility. It comes with a uh, lot of lack of trust, I can say it, because suppose Bitcoin has or another currency or blockchain has started working in a manner in Pakistan where the information is available to everyone. Don't you think the fraudster will start using that information for their own benefit? We have to bring in some logical things into the play before we get into the blockchain. Right now, all we are doing is we are using Bitcoin as the blockchain example. And if you look at the Bitcoin, and I'm going a little bit into the Bitcoin just to answer this question, you have seen how Bitcoin goes up in value and the next day it is going down in value. There are so much regulations on a stock exchange that everyone who's like, if ABC company is trying to start a plant, they have to give notice to everyone. If they are trying to fire a main executive of the company, they have to give a notice to the stock exchange so that everybody is aware that this is what is happening. But with the blockchain or Bitcoin, this goes without noticing or without regulation. If you start creating the regulation, you first have to accept it that this is what we are going to do. The problem with the regulators or the problem with the Bitcoin is that it does not have the value in the eyes of a lot of economists or a lot of people who wants to see that this Bitcoin is used in the right fashion. If you invest in one Bitcoin today, suppose for $20,000, and tomorrow the value goes down to $10,000, if they regulate it, who will be able to address that? How does it reduce the value? The other thing of the main thing of the blockchain is if you have to regulate it, then what is the purpose of blockchain? Like, why do a bank in Canada has to send the money to a correspondent bank in US and then intermediary bank in Germany and then another bank in Pakistan before it goes gives you the money? Because there are regulations. So if you put the regulations into this world, then the whole purpose of this go away. Then it will be the same thing as any other cycle or any other processes which we are dealing with. So that's why the proponents of this technology is against that this should be regulated. If it starts being regulated, and they say that if you are bringing Bitcoin from outside of Pakistan or outside of US, then you have to pay this much of tax. If people start paying taxes, Bitcoin will go out of the business. So that's why a lot of people does not want the regulation on it. And to bring the regulation in, it has to be controlled in some manner. Right now, it is not. So this is the both end of the picture. G Firoz.
There is something that Jawad has built on what you were explaining. Uh, there is a lengthy statement, I'll read it out now. Jawad is saying if there is no third party in blockchain, example, uh, he has given an example. I'm talking about regulating perspective. For example, I have sent a message on WhatsApp to Mr. A. Regarding any information, and WhatsApp encrypts that message into a code which cannot be read by a third party. But we have seen government entities that force companies like these to have backdoor access to the information passing through. How will government regulate these digital currencies having no access and control over it? So something to build on what you already explained.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Once government wants to do something, like you have seen that WhatsApp does not work in some of the Middle Eastern countries because they think that they cannot just let these things work without being available to the government. And we have seen it in the past as well that the regulation is needed to support or safeguard the assets of the people at large. And it is a long way to regulate these things. I think it is becoming a lot of people in Western world have started seeing a lot of potential in blockchains, and because the time is not right now, but we have seen a year ago, year and a half, 2 years ago, when these things were skyrocketing, a lot of people have made a lot of money. And if you look at the bigger universities, the Ivy Leagues or the top 100 universities of the world, they all have courses in blockchains and cryptocurrencies. It means that something will come out of it in the use cases where we watch. That's what we are talking about. So this is going to be another stream of things within technology which will be taught and which will be implemented across different platforms. We are just trying to understand how does it work, but there is a lot which is being happening in this environment. Ji Firoz.
I think we have covered the question that we received. We can
Okay.
continue further.
Okay. So role of blockchain. These are some of the roles of the blockchains which we have seen in the examples. I was sharing some of the examples previously as well in the digital transformation webinar, and I will share some of them here as well, that how these things will be working. Uh, Blockchain in the manner, suppose I was giving an example day before yesterday. Let's start with another example, personal information. You use Uber a lot. A lot of people uses Uber or Careem in Pakistan. How does it work? It works in a manner that you have an account in Uber, you go in, you say that, okay, uh, do drop me from A place to B place, and then they have information available that, okay, you pay through debit card, you pay through credit card, and all these information, which is a personal information. What if a blockchain mechanism is there across the automotive industry, which stores your information that you drive ABC car, or you have ABC information available, and which is visible to Kareem and Uber and everyone. And as soon as you request Uber, that information is visible to the driver, and driver will be able to use that information to drop you from A place to B place. And then they will be able to see that, okay, you like A radio and B radio, or you like to be quiet and not talk about anything, or you want to be talkative, or you want to you don't like smells, or you don't like AC or things like that. So or what is your emergency contact if someone is needing it. So the information will be available to all the nodes, all the computers available on that. And as soon as you book Uber, that information will be available, whether you're booking Uber, whether you're booking Careem, whether you're booking any of the car sharing services, whether it's Lyft, whether it's Bike here in Pakistan. But that kind of information in automotive industry uh, is one of the use cases which is being worked on from the blockchain perspective. Uh, Payment schedule, autonomous vehicles. Autonomous vehicle is it is in the making for a very long time, and it it is there are so many algorithms which are being worked out about these autonomous vehicles, that what will happen in this scenario, what will happen in that scenario, and these are all being stored as a blockchain. For example, if there are four people in the, just give me a second. What is this? Oh, I thought it is for tomorrow. Okay, thank you. Thanks very much. My apologies. I was talking about autonomous vehicle. So in autonomous vehicles, blockchain technology, what will happen is you will define the regulation that these are the regulations A and B and C. Regulations would look like that at zebra crossing, A person will stop and B person will do that, and the people will cross the road from zebra crossing. But what will happen if some person comes suddenly in front of you, and if you apply the brakes, the person in the vehicle will get hit harshly than the person outside. Autonomous vehicle will make the decision on the algorithms. So they are working on the conditions, that if this condition happens, this is what is going to happen. And they are so much difficult conditions, like what is the age of the person who's walking on the road, what is the age group of the people who are in the car, what is gender, and all these things are built into autonomous vehicles blockchain technology, so that that information is available. Similarly, there are car sharing services. We have talked about that. Car sharing right now, we looked at it from the Uber perspective, from the Kareem's perspective. But if you talk about in the blockchain economy, every person who's, as soon as you leave the house, that information should be available to everyone on the road, that okay, this car sharing is available, this person is moving outside, or if you are going in from A direction to B direction, that person should just come and stop. Instead of you booking a car, there should be people, or like if I have to tell you that I am going to ride Uber, or I'm going to be the Uber or Kareem captain or Uber driver, instead of that, I'm going from A location to B location to my office, and the other person is just wants to leave the house, and he's going in the same direction. I should be notified through the blockchain that this person is available, and that information is available publicly, and we should be able to share the car. So these are some of the examples, and this is how the blockchain is going to impact our lives. Uh, this is about automotive industry. I would like to move into the financial services industry, but before that, if anyone has any question, I'll be more than happy to address it.
We don't have any question, Rohit.
That's good. Let's move on. Let's discuss some of the more use cases of the blockchain before we go into the types and forms of the blockchain. I covered a little bit for the cross-border payment. There is an organization with the name of Ripple, which is working on this blockchain. And what they are planning to do is, they are saying cross-border payment is very expensive, and we have to charge so much money. Like when Swift, a lot of people in the banking and financial services industry would understand that Swift is the organization which transfers money from A place to B place, but this blockchain technology would help that instead of going between intermediary banks, you can directly send the money to the final source or final financial institution. That company has been working with several regulators, several countries, and they have made some good strides. They were able to get into some of the uh, good central banks as well. The main cause was that some of the weaknesses are documented here. Banks charges extra for cross-border payments and transfers. And why do they do that? Like IBFT is easy, interbank fund transfer is easy. I can do it from my app to another person, and with Rast, it becomes more easy that within Pakistan we can transfer money. But even if I have a US dollar account, I cannot send money from Pakistan to say UAE or Canada, because it does not work like that. As I was telling you, it in some cases takes 2 to 3 weeks as well to transfer money. It's slow and expensive. People can send and receive money easily. Similar example, uh, if I can send the IBFT, or if I interbank fund transfer, if I can send the money through Rast, I should be able to send the money through this. And with blockchain, it will become easier. There are a lot of applications nowadays as well, which are like Remitly is there, or Western Union is there, MoneyGram is there, which are working on these things, but still they are too centric towards their service providers. But what if I have to, like all the banks are linked towards some central system, like we have NEFT in Pakistan. If we have a central system across all the banks globally, then we should be able to very easily switch to blockchain. And the way it works is, as I was explaining it to you, that sender and receiver, they need to send and receive money, and there should be just one bank involved in between, and they should be able to directly do that. Uh, credit score mechanism across the world is very mature. In Pakistan, we use the ECIB, Credit Information Bureau report, E for electronic. But in Western world, if you don't pay the utility bills, it also goes in your credit score. If you don't pay rent, it also goes in your credit score. And everybody has access to update your credit score. And everybody does not have access to see your credit score, but I can request you to show me your credit score, and then Some of the banks get a signature from you that I would like to see your credit score before giving you the credit card. So the information goes in from a lot of pairs. All the utility companies, all the banks, all the like tenants can also update that credit score thing. They have to show loan rent agreement, all these things. But if it is visible to everyone and everybody should be able to show it, then this credit score on the blockchain will be very easy. There are some other things which are in the making. Lending platforms is there. You know, why does bank lend money? Like if you go to bank can give you very low deposit rate, and when you ask money from bank, they give you very high interest rates. So why do we not create a lending platform which connects with people who want to lend money and people who want to utilize that money, and create a lending platform where the spread is very limited? And with the help of right pair network or nodes, it's possible that we should be able to do it. We just have to connect the right people with the right forum, and here you go. Similarly, fund investments, you should have visibility to which fund is right for me. Right now, we have to go to mutual fund advisor, asset management advisor. In Pakistan, it's not very uh, attractive or mature that very few people invest in fund. I think in total there are 200 or 300 total CDC accounts, central depository accounts, and but there are so much work which is being done. I was talking about robo advisors and all these things, and fund investments in the same manner should be able to capture the blockchain. Uh, Government expenses and political funds, this is again the same thing, that wherever government is spending the money, they should be able to use that through the financial services platform. And political funds, where are they utilizing the money, political funds, everybody should be able to address that. जी फिरोज कोई सवाल है इस पे तो we can address that.
I think right now, guys, if you have a question, please do type in.
देखो फिरोज, दो ही बातें होती हैं जब सवाल नहीं होता ना, एक तो या मैं बहुत अच्छा पढ़ा रहा हूँ या किसी की कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा.
I can recall last time you mentioned this same statement as well, but I can see I did feel that people were trying to understand what you were trying to deliver. The level of questions that we were receiving right before you started the use case of blockchain and financial services. I think the members are getting a hold of what you're trying to explain.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So I'll continue. And if you have any question, because I'll be moving on to, after a few minutes, I'll be moving on to the Bitcoin part.
Sure. I'll keep you posted if I receive any questions.
Okay, let me just complete some of the other things. What do you need to start a blockchain? You need a database of all the information. You need writers who can write the transactions or who can write the queries to run the blockchain. But I don't think so. We are as mature that we should start working on that. I can discuss some of the more applications of blockchain. We talked about government organizations. There are some information about citizen documentation. So the thing which is very critical for blockchain is also what we call the public key and private key. What happens is, if I have to send you money in blockchain, or if I take the example of Bitcoin, if I have to send you some Bitcoins, as I was telling you that Bitcoin's user ID comprises of zeros and ones and alphanumeric things. And nobody knows who they are sending the money to. They just are sending the money to A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. And when you send the money, you just know the user ID. So user ID is in that situation. considers a public key, which is like your email address, your mobile phone number, because it is available to a lot of people. And if you want anyone to contact you, you give them your email ID, or you give them your uh, email ID, or you give them your phone number, so that people should be able to contact you. Uh, in the same manner, but when you are receiving the money, you need to authenticate that money should come to you. So you need the password in the same manner as you receive the email. But if you want to check the email, if you want to check the content of the email, you will need the password. You apply the password to the email, and then you are in, and you will be able to see what email you have received. In Bitcoin, or in the use cases of blockchain, with some digging, you will be able to link the ID or the public key with the name of the person, that who's that person or who that information is coming from. But private key is the key which is only available to which links with the public key, is going to give you authorization to provide information or use that information or receive the money. So in blockchain, both public key and private key, public key is available to a lot of people. You can share it with other people. Private key stays with you, and you only use it when you want to send money, or you want to actually see the money is with you. So it is like username and password. So if you come to this blockchain application of blockchain, citizen documentation, uh, right now, how many times you visit and you have to give them your CNIC. You are applying for passport, you are applying to get SIM card, you are applying to get a phone, you are applying to get anything, you have to give them your CNIC. In Pakistan, we have started using biometric. You have to apply for the credit card. You just put your thumb impression on the machine, and here you go. If you want to get SIM card, you do the same thing. If you want to get like ATMs are using the biometric machines. If you want ATMs in Pakistan, if you don't have debit card, you just go in, you type your CNIC number, put the thumb impression on, and you will be able to receive money from the ATMs. How is it possible? It means that NADRA has started sharing biometric information with the banks in the manner that, okay, if the same person comes in, we will tell you that if I put my CNIC number and I put my thumb impression in, and both matches, it means I am actually that same person, and I should be able to withdraw money from my bank account. So if in the same manner, if the authorities start using this for the blockchain technology, and the information is available at SIM operations, at anywhere we want to use that, that will be an example of blockchain in the form where this is available to everyone, and it goes in the decentralized format. Right now it is in the centralized format, and encryption is there, everything is there, but identity authentication, it has to be kept by at the central level. uh, if I talk about health records, take the example of I go to suppose ABC Hospital. ABC Hospital is the biggest hospital in Pakistan, and when I go there, every time I get my tests done, it is available in ABC's records. What if I'm not feeling well in a small city in Pakistan, and that ABC records are not available? And they don't know if I have heart conditions, they don't know if I have diabetes, if I have any other diseases, and I'm not conscious to tell them, or they are not able to see my records. And in blockchain environment, if you think about it, healthcare records would be available peer to peer. As soon as you enter my public key, you will be able to see my records. Who am I? What is my health condition? How am I going to react to some of the medicines? And these type of things are very common in Western world, but at a level that if I am working, like if I am living in Ontario, Ontario's record, which is a province in Canada, will not be shared with Alberta, which is another province in Canada. because the healthcare system of each province is different. But in the ideal situation, in the blockchain situation, those records should be available to everyone. Every time I see a doctor, that record should be uploaded to a blockchain and I should be able to see it whenever I want. So this is land ownership we have talked about already. Digital currency we have discussed in the previous slide. Smart contracts is another very good example in Ethereum, which is another type of blockchain. Bitcoin is one type, Ethereum is another type, Ripple is the third type, which we talked about. So I'll quickly cover these three types. In Ethereum, you work on the model where you can link things with the smart contracts. That only this will only happen in this condition. It is not visible to everyone, but it will only be visible to A, B, C in those conditions. So it is decentralized, but with some caveats in it. Is there any question?
There are multiple questions, Rob. I start one by one. The first
Yep.
question is from basically there are three questions from Yusuf Khan Ghori. The first one is, what will be the impact of crypto on government's powers, such as setting fiscal and monetary policies?
Uh, Once they accept it as a, you see, the main issue is, Yusuf, you have to accept it as a value, a store of value. Right now, crypto is not considered as a store of value. Like government, when they want to appreciate, like you have seen recently that US Fed, Federal Reserve, US Central Bank have increased the policy rate three times. Last three times they have increased the policy rate for more than 2% this year, which is highest since 2006, before even the Great Recession. So for last 15 years, this is the highest rate. Why they are doing that? With doing that, they have appreciated their currency so much that it is equivalent to euro and GBP, which is very unique in a situation that we have never seen such a condition before. Why am I telling you that? Is because they can control that money's demand and supply. They can control that money's usage. But with Bitcoin, because it is across the globe, I don't think so. Cryptocurrency, there are no regulations applied to that. One day it can go 20% higher, next day it can go 20% lower, and it is not linked with economy right now. So I don't think they will be able to manage it until they have some power on controlling it. जी फिरोज sir.
Uh, the next statement is, okay, I think you have answered this question. The next question is from Hasib. Can you please tell us about the relationship between the metaverse and the blockchain?
I will be able to, but I don't want to get into metaverse. It's a entirely different discussion. I want to focus on blockchain first. Once people understand what the blockchain is, we'll definitely have a second discussion on metaverse. Yesterday, I covered, not yesterday, on Monday when we were discussing the big data, I gave a little bit of directionally things that this is how it is going to impact everything, but with linking with blockchain, I think people will get more confused.
Okay, so Sadiq wants to know, data security in blockchain is safer option as compared to the traditional methods.
Uh, yes, like anywhere, if you are making the information available to everyone, nobody can steal it. The information is not staying at the central location. I'll give you an example. ABC Bank in Pakistan holds your debit card numbers or credit card numbers where you can utilize that to buy or sell things. Now, the issue with that is if that information is stored at one location, you will just go in and you will say that uh, steal that information and start using that information. And when you'll start using that information, you'll be able to use debit cards and credit cards and everything, which is Very easy. Now take it to the Bitcoin, take it to the blockchain. The information that you have, ABC money, is stored in everyone's laptop. You own, and you means the person with the user ID of XYZ owns, uh, I don't know, 2 Bitcoins. And the XYZ person, the password of XYZ person, the private key of XYZ person is not stored anywhere. It is just stored in his mind, and the information is available that XYZ person had 2 Bitcoins. Now, if you even see the information, you will not see the debit card number or credit card number, because you are just looking at the private key. The public, you are just looking at the public key. Private key is with me, and once I'll start making the transaction, once I'll use my password, I'll say that okay, this information is available. I want to transfer out of 2 Bitcoins, 1 Bitcoin to someone else. That information will be going to everyone at the same time. So because of the centralized and decentralized feature of things, it is more secure because it is not stored in one place, so uh, it can be stolen. Other thing is the characteristics of this is different than the centralized function. That's why it's more secure. Ji Firoz.
Uh, there is a really interesting question from Hasib. Hasib wants to know, can we use blockchain technology in elections for transparency? If yes, how will it work?
Uh, I've not thought about it, but let's see if we can have it worked or not. Do you want everyone to know that who you voted for? Our Pakistani elections doesn't work like that. You go in a corner, you hide your result, and then you share it with them. So if you are trying to hide the result, blockchain does not work like that. As soon as you vote, everybody knows who you voted for. And in Pakistani electoral system, it does not have that capacity, or it does not have the regulation. If it would have a regulation, it would work in that manner that everybody just go and uh, put their votes in through the smart contracts, which you were just seeing that it may have some conditions. You do A, B, C, D, E, and then you go from there. I think because if you think a little harder on that, it goes in a centralized nature of things where every vote will be counted towards the end. So I think there are so many features available where you can just go and vote through a centralized machine, and then they are accumulated collectively. But a nice concept. We can think about it. I think let's implement EVM first, electronic voting machines, and then we'll see if we can implement the blockchain.
Indeed, that's correct. I think we don't have any pending questions for now.
Okay, so moving on to Bitcoin, how does this work in the Bitcoin framework? Uh, if you read the definition at the bottom, what is cryptocurrency? Cryptocurrency is a digital asset designed to work as a medium of exchange, which is the nature of the currency, that uses strong cryptography to secure financial transaction. It is safe and secure. Control the creation of additional units. You cannot create additional units. Similarly, as a state bank does, they control how much rupees they should print, and verify the transfer of assets. And when the money transfers from A to B or B to C, they should be able to control or verify the transfers. So cryptocurrency has all the features of a currency. You can use it as a medium of exchange. You can verify the assets. The demand and supply is fixed. Uh, I think the only challenge which we are talking about is the store of value, because it has a value, but value changes so much frequently that it loses the interest. There are, you can see from the picture at the right side, there are more than 1,600 cryptos in the making right now. everybody apparently has their own crypto now right now. There are some written at the bottom. Dogecoin is one of them, Ethereum is one of them, Zcash is one of them, and Bitcoin for sure, we all know about it. So how does cryptocurrency works? Somebody has created a cryptocurrency, which is Bitcoin, and it does not have any government oversight. This is the benefit of it. This is how they want to target it, market it. Uh, how does it gets monitored? It is monitored through peer-to-peer control, internet protocol. So if sufficient number of people who owns crypto, they decide they don't want to sell it, which makes it high in demand, then the market goes up, the value goes up. And if people start selling it, the supply goes up and the demand goes down and the market comes down. It is, as I was telling you, in the same manner as blockchain, it is just the store of value. Somebody has defined that we'll issue this blockchain with the name of Bitcoin. It has this number of certain number of bits available, Bitcoins available, and let's see how are we going to trade it. And it is based on the blockchain technology. Bitcoin is one of the use case of blockchain technology. Every time you want to buy one more Bitcoin, it adds another block. One, not one, like if you want to buy 0.00001, even in that case, it adds another Bitcoin to that. It adds another block to that layer, and that is how you add the value. Once you buy or sell, it has to go to that blockchain, and then somebody who has access, who's the main pair to that, who's one of the nodes to that blockchain, should be able to give the blockchain to you or sell the blockchain for you. You can buy and sell the blockchain in any denomination. You will be given the public key. Public key will be very complicated, and it will be known. You can share it with anyone. And if you want to buy the Bitcoin, you will give one of the owners of that Bitcoin some money based on your demand and supply chain on that, and he or she will be able to transfer you the Bitcoins. Right now, Bitcoins are being traded in US dollars, and that's how we determine the value. So basically, Bitcoin has become a currency which is dependent on US dollar. And then, as you see at the bottom, Bitcoin market cap is uh, $11 billion already. So all the people who wants to buy or sell Bitcoin can use that. It is not that easy to create, and somebody was asking the question, why cannot we have uh, uh, why is it so difficult to mine in Bitcoin? You can just imagine, if I am a Bitcoin holder and I have one Bitcoin and I want to transfer the Bitcoin, can I not just transfer at the same time one Bitcoin to Feroz and one Bitcoin to XYZ? The algorithm has to work in a manner that I should be able to transfer only one Bitcoin if I have one Bitcoin. But in banking regulations, we have all in banking industry, we have all seen that people issue checks more than one person, and the person who gets the check and the other person who goes to encash the check does not have money. He feel embarrassed. But in an environment where there is no teller or there is no environment available, uh, you have to build controls into that blockchain. And that is how there are so many controls built into blockchain that uh, it cannot uh, go. It has to be validated, and there has to be some security and features built into that. Uh, the mining process, how does it work, is that you have to understand that if you want to put any transaction into play, there may be some blocks whose hash totals are being compromised and whose hash totals are challenged and which are not working in the manner in which it should be. So what happens in that scenario is, if I have one Bitcoin and I want to transfer it to say 10 people, zero point 0.1 each, and if I go to blockchain and I say that, okay, transfer one point 0.1 to A, zero point 0.1 to B, zero point 0.1 to C, and my hash total does not match for some reason, I will not be able to validate the transaction. So what will happen to my Bitcoin? Then the person who has the pair network, who has the information available, the most of the pair network, majority of the pair network has the right information available, they will be able to tell you that this Bitcoin was transferred to you and you have to use another node to transfer the money. And in the because it's a decentralized function, so it works on the democratic process that whoever has the highest number, or whichever blockchain has the highest number of validations, that process will be considered the right process. So with that, it seems like there would be a situation where the wrong transaction has been processed, but like I'll give you an example. I have 100, I've created 100 IDs and I have given 0.0001 in all these IDs. Now I have 100 IDs and I should be able to say that my Bitcoin is right when I am actually wrong. Will it, in the democratic process, if I have 100 right things, it means I have won the chance, or whatever I am saying makes more sense. But they have created a mechanism where the power of the machines or the nodes count and IDs does not count to authenticate the pair network. And in that manner, Bitcoins keep themselves in the very authenticated manner. And through decentralized cryptocurrencies, they are able to address or validate at the time of transfer. So I have told you about Ethereum. I have told you about market cap. Ripple. Ripple is the one which I was telling you is working on the cross-border payment. Ethereum is the one which is working on the smart contracts, where you work on different things to make sure that all the conditions are being met. This is the mining process. How does mining work? Very high computational computer power is used. They challenge the puzzle. They resolve the puzzle. They resolve the hash and give them access to chains of blockchains, and then they are rewarded a newly created bitcoins. It is not that easy to solve that hash. I'll give you an example. So hash is, if you want to solve my phone's password, how much time it will take for you to solve my password. You will go in and you will start typing 1234, 1235, 1236, or 0000, 0001, 0002, 0003, and you will be able to crack it. But how much time will it take? It will take you a lot of time. Now, think about a hash which has, I don't know, 2 to the power of 200 characters. Now, like, you have, I don't know how many zeros after 2, 100 zeros after 2. And now you are there to solve that hash by just doing the trial and error. You will write A 200 times or 100 times, and then you will say A 99 times and B once. And this is how you are going to solve the hash, through trial and error, because there is no mechanism of creating the hash. And you will be able to solve. We are not saying you will not be able to solve. You will be able to solve hash, but it will take a lot of time. And once you solve the chains, the hash total, once you solve one of the hashes, the next hash becomes more complicated because another block or another layer is added to that. So now it will take a lot more time for you to do it. So mining is, that's why one of the questions which we saw was why mining takes so much of time. I've given you the example of my cell phone password, and this is how it works. Uh, are all cryptocurrencies mineable? Did you know not all cryptocurrency tokens are mineable? The processor is requested to verify the transaction of mineable currencies and know this proof of work, while non-mineable currencies do not. There are some currencies which are not mineable. Most of them are mining because they have created a mechanism, which is a very complicated, cumbersome process, which, such as Bitcoin, which we have seen the example, is mining a source of easy money, as many people perceive that crypto money is always profitable, as needs to invest in. To be money, you need to invest. So mining is not that easy. We see that once you mine, you get Bitcoins, but the level of energy, level of resources it needs, it is very expensive. It is very, very expensive. And it is, it cannot be done with the simple laptops. You need a lot of different things. These are some of the cryptocurrencies. These are some frameworks. Bitcoin framework, world's first famous cryptocurrency based on Satoshi Nakamoto. So considering we have 15 minutes, I would like to see if people have questions which I should be able to address.
Okay, so Raksha, we have questions. First question is from Sayed Abbas. Sayed Abbas is asking, what is the certainty of Bitcoin then? Mile and other value like gold is sustainable. How can it be ensured that it may be materialized after 3 to 5 years? All the central banks of all the countries are doing to maximum to nip the Bitcoin in the bud. But what do you say there on?
I was expecting this question the day when I started preparing for this webinar. अब्बास साहब, मसला सारा ये है कि कोई भी रेगुलेटर ना बिटकॉइन को कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकता, और जब कोई बिटकॉइन को कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकता तो दे विल नॉट असाइन एनी वैल्यू. कोई भी इकोनॉमिस्ट आप उसको बोलेंगे ना इस घर की वैल्यू बताओ, किसी भी घर की वैल्यू, तो वो बोलेगा इस घर को बनाने में ये कॉस्ट आती है, दिस इज इट्स वैल्यू. अगर आप किसी स्टॉक ब्रोकर से पूछेंगे कि इस कंपनी की क्या वैल्यू है, वो उसके कैश फ्लोज निकालेगा और बोलेगा ये इसकी वैल्यू है. हर चीज की वैल्यू निकालने का एक तरीका होता है. बिटकॉइन की वैल्यू का डिमांड एंड सप्लाई के अलावा कोई तरीका नहीं है. इट इज नॉट सपोर्टेड बाय एनी टेंजिबल एसेट. जितनी भी एग्जांपल्स मैंने आपको दी, घर की ले लें, कंपनी की ले लें, गाड़ी की ले लें, दे आर ऑल टेंजिबल एसेट्स. एंड even in intangible assets you are able to I'm sorry, alhamdulillah, you are able to give it a value. But ये जो क्रिप्टो करेंसीज हैं, इसमें सारी की सारी वैल्यू जो है ना, वो है डिमांड सप्लाई के बेसिस पे. इस वजह से ना इसमें कोई भी रेगुलेटर इज नॉट विलिंग टू एक्सेप्ट. देयर आर सम यूज केसेस ऑफ क्रिप्टो करेंसीज, लाइक आई वाज गिविंग यू एन एग्जांपल ऑफ रिपल, जो कि एक प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर रही है. जब कोई चीज़ प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करती है ना आपकी, आप उसको फिर एक वैल्यू असाइन करते हो कि हाँ ये इतना प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर रही है, इससे इतना पैसा कमाया जा सकता है. और फिर आप उसको, जैसे नेटफ्लिक्स जब शुरू में आया तो इट डिड नॉट हैव एनी कंटेंट, और वो प्रॉब्लम क्या सॉल्व कर रहा था, दे जस्ट हैड अ सॉफ्टवेयर, और वो घर पे बैठ के आपको टीवी दिखा रहे थे. या उबर जब आई, उसके पास कोई गाड़ी नहीं थी, बट दे वर सॉल्विंग द प्रॉब्लम थ्रू देयर सॉफ्टवेयर. They were saying you would be able to book a car at a cheaper rate at a safer place. You don't need to have cash, और हम consistent पैसे charge करेंगे, because if it is rush hours, some may charge you more, and later on they move to the same model. But with cryptocurrencies, uh, with Bitcoin specifically, it's very difficult to determine a value. और हमने पिछले चंद सालों में 2013-14 से अगर मैं इसको कहूँ, मैं फॉलो कर रहा हूँ, या 15 से 6,000 पे जब पहुंचा था तो सबने कहा $6,000 की वैल्यू हो गई है यार, इतने का तो गोल्ड नहीं आता पर आउंस, और ये तो बस लिमिट हो गई है। फिर 60,000 पे भी चला गया, 65,000 पे भी चला गया 2021 में। तो आई डोंट नो वेयर विल स्टॉप। मार्केट कैप आप देख रहे हैं, इट इज $11 billion, इज अ वेरी गुड मार्केट कैप, और it can go further up because it has created, everybody at least in a younger generation knows what Bitcoin is, what it does, but regulators perspective, I don't think there will be any value in that. Ji, Firoz.
Thank you, Roshan, for such a detailed answer. There was another question from Hasim, but I think you have answered that through the supply and demand. Another question, which cryptocurrency is your favorite and that obviously you follow?
यार मैं अकाउंटेंट आदमी हूँ, कंजर्वेटिव ना हमें बचपन में ही सिखाया जाता है कि आपने कंजर्वेटिव रहना, or I don't think I can say that any of them is my favorite. I follow them, like I follow the news. I cannot say that none of them my favorite. But Ripple, I have been following from the beginning because it is addressing the problem. It is going to, if in the beginning it makes very good strides in the right direction, but then it changed the path a little bit, और उसके बाद से थोड़ा slow हो गई थी. So I am very hopeful that if it will be able to achieve only partially of what they are willing to do, it is going to be a good cryptocurrency to follow. It's different with cryptocurrencies because in Pakistan you cannot invest in them. Even when I was in Canada, I never invested any amount in them because I always thought that it's like uh, you are without any fundamentals if you are investing in something from religious point of view. At least I believe that it's gambling, so I never invested in any of them, and that was the perspective I took. Ji.
Thank you, Roshan. Uh, Said Awaz has a request. He's requesting please also make a discussion on shares of companies versus cryptocurrency.
Here there is no comparison. They are both people consider them as investment options, but I am not allowed to give any financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. A stock exchange has different things and it is regulated. You know what companies are investing into what. You know there are requirements that they needs to be audited. They need to be audited. There are requirements that they need to disclose certain information. So you get to see a lot about them, and you pick to see which stock you think will go up and why, and you can do your own research. With cryptocurrency, if you are willing to invest time, you need to learn what is their main objective and then work on that objective and see if that creates any value and then invest in that. Just because something is looking shiny today and does not have any value underground and as underlying value, then you should be very cautious in that, whether it's a share or it's a cryptocurrency. Ji.
uh, Building on to your you can say statement, doesn't you, don't you think that the currency notes, they follow the same pattern, that there is nothing material behind the currency notes?
Say it again. Sorry, I received a very dramatic message, so I had to look at it. Ji, please
Uh,
repeat it.
the question is, don't you think the statement that you made about being something material behind the cryptocurrencies, don't you think the currency notes are of a similar nature, that they don't hold any material thing against them?
Yes, for last few decades, this is the case. You are right, but you hold central government or central bank accountable if the value of currency goes down. Uh, we have seen that like rupee against dollar, if it is going up or down, we like finance minister or state bank governor holds MPS and then or a press conference and tells us that why this is going up or down. Uh, do you think the similar thing about cryptocurrency? My main fundamental is that this there are it will take a lot of time. Like if you look at the cryptocurrencies, they are just decade old. If you look at the coins, like Ashrafia was there 2000 years ago as well. And if you think about central governments, Bank of England has been there for 300 years. So there are so much maturity in that environment, and the store of value, whether you use debit card, credit card, it is backed by the same currency, rupee or dollar or yuan. These cryptocurrencies, they have put a dent on, and we are all started to talk about it. It will take a little bit of time because they are challenging the status quo. It will be mainstream, but with some modification. We are all talking about this. Don't you think the mature markets where they have $11 billion of value and there are so much work is being going on, they are talking about all these things because we as Pakistan would be following them on that, but they are the leaders. There are courses, there are undergrad courses. You can do graduation in blockchain, so you know that a lot of people will be investing, a lot of people will be doing so much work on these blockchains and cryptocurrencies that uh, it will get mature over time. So I'm not saying that uh, the government issued currency notes has a lot of value, but there are people who are accountable for depreciation and appreciation of that. Ji Firoz.
Uh, Couple of more questions, Rohsab, coming your way. Mohammed Suleiman Samab has asked a question, but I'll rephrase and summarize it for you. What are the advantages if indeed the cryptocurrency gets regulated?
यार सबसे ज़्यादा एडवांटेज इसका ये होगा कि हमें ना क्रॉस बॉर्डर, जैसे अभी मैं दूसरे मुल्क में आया हूँ, आई एम ट्रैवलिंग, आई विल बी एबल टू, मुझे भी पहले पाकिस्तान से निकलते हुए डॉलर लेने पड़े, फिर टर्की आके मुझे लिरा लेना पड़ा, तो आई हैड टू ट्रांसलेट इट एंड आई एम गिविंग इट टू द मिडल मैन. द मेन फीचर of cryptocurrencies or blockchain will be to avoid the middleman. ये जो मिडल मैन का काम है ना, ये सारा का सारा डायरेक्ट आप कंज्यूमर जो है वो लैंड रजिस्ट्री से बात कर रहा होगा, मुझे किसी वकील के पास नहीं जाना होगा, फिर मुझे किसी को अंडर द टेबल नहीं कुछ पैसे देने होंगे कि मुझे इस लैंड का रिकॉर्ड दिखा दो. So they will be able to address a lot of issues, especially the blockchain technology will be able to address a lot of issues. Taking the, आप देखो ना जितने भी प्रोसेसेस हैं हमारे पास जो आसान है, आप नादरा के ऑफिस में चले जाओ, शनाख्ती कार्ड इशू करवाना है आपने या पासपोर्ट बनवाना है, या आप किसी भी ऐसी जगह चले जाओ जहाँ पे यू आर डायरेक्टली डीलिंग the with the person, the centralized authority, and there is no middleman. The life is so much easier. So the main feature of blockchain technology will be that it will be so decentralized that the end user will directly be able to, like if you want to buy a house, why do you have to pay commission to the agent? You know which house is available. You'll get the quality of the construction verified by architect. It is available on the blockchain. You will go and see the house. If you like the house, you don't have to pay commission to anyone. Just go and buy the house. So there are so many use cases, and we see that use cases. Like in Pakistan, there are we are a little bit more behind because we don't have the documentation up to the standard, or we don't have the willingness to take it to the next level. But in mature economies, like I was telling you about the credit score, it's so much mature that you are able to do a lot more with that. So it will be very easy, and they will be we'll be able to see some more use cases with the help of blockchain in those economies. फिरोज साहब मेरे पास एक या दो सवालों का और टाइम है, and then we'll finish it off.
Done. Last question, a very relevant question, but again from Sayyid Abbas. Sayyid Abbas wants to know, has SECP or the stock market allowed investment in cryptocurrencies? Are the listed companies allowed to show investment in cryptocurrencies in their balance sheets?
In Pakistan, it is not allowed to invest in cryptocurrencies. So if any company who is from outside of Pakistan, who has operations in outside of Pakistan through a subsidiary, and they buy cryptocurrency in suppose UK or Canada or US, and they keep it, then they should be able to show it on their books. The issue with cryptocurrency is what we have to understand is all the IFRS, whether we talk about IFRS 9 or IAS 39, they require you to do mark to market on all the investments nowadays. With cryptocurrency, if you invest something, suppose Tesla has invested something in cryptocurrency, if you have to keep it on 31st December and you have a decent amount of investment, it loses value significantly. You are in loss. How will you explain it to your shareholders that I have done that? And if you are in a gain in one quarter, you will be jumping all over the place, and in the next quarter it will be very difficult to face it. So from corporate world, there are very few companies which are keen on making big investments in these cryptocurrencies.
Thank you, Roksab. I will take note of your request and be sensitive about it. So thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate, and I really do mean it. Thank you so much for your time. I can understand that you are traveling, and can also understand how difficult it is when you are already on a tight schedule. So thank you so much. I thank you on behalf of all the members that have joined the session today. I thank you on behalf of ACCA Pakistan, and uh, thank you so much. I won't take much of your time. If there is anything that you want to add, please do.
Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank
Assalamu alaikum.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. We will catch up.